Yes, good morning all. Let's start with one of the implementation class of set implementation. It is a set implementation class. So set is an interface. What are the child interface of set? Sorted set and navigable set. So for them, one of the implementation class is what? Tree set. Tree set. This is the one of the implementation class for set. So when we should have to go for tree set, when we should have to go for sorted set, as we know that. So all the objects should be inserted according to some sorting order. If we want to insert all the objects according to some sorting order, then we will go for sorted set. So this is the implementation class for sorted set. So TreeSet is the implementation class for sorted set as well as set interface. Let's have a look into what TreeSet. You know, so how we're gonna like what is the hierarchy of this TreeSet? If you see, this is my set, this is my set, and one of the child interface of set is what? Sorted set. Sorted set. One of the child interface of sorted set is what? Navigable set, and one of the implementation class for these interfaces are tree set. So tree set is the implementation class for these interfaces: navigable set, sorted set, and set. So first of all, we will go through all the concept of this sorted set. First, write down this implementation class, this hierarchy. Two classes are there. We have two more classes are there. What are those? Those are the child classes. Those are the implementation classes for set. What are those? We have has set, and then we have linked has set. Linked has set. These are the two implementation classes for set. So this linked has set is the child of has set. This linked has set is the child of has set. These two classes also are implementation classes for set interface. And when they was introduced, you know that set was introduced in 1.2 version of JDK. Has set 1.2, linked has set 1.4, sorted set 1.2, navigable set 1.4. Navigable set is what? 1.4, and tree set 1.2. 1.2 version of JDK. So you can draw this. So this is 1.2, 1.2, here 1.2, this is 1.4. So sorted set 1.2, not 1.3, okay, 1.2. This is 1.6, 1.6, and this is 1.2. You can draw this for better understanding. So let's go ahead and let's look into what tree set. All the property of the tree set. Whenever we are going to look into the property of any implementation class in Selenium. So as we know that all the implementation class of, sorry, not Selenium, okay. All the implementation class of collection interface, okay. So just got Selenium, okay. So all the implementation of collection interface is implemented based on some standard data structure. Yes or no? So all the implementation of collection interface, implementation classes of collection interface is implemented based on some standard data structure. So what is the data structure this tree set is implemented? The underlying data structure. The underlying data structure for this tree set is what? Balanced tree. What is the underlying data structure, guys? The underlying data structure for this tree set is what? Balanced tree. Okay. So how this balanced tree will work? Practically we will look. Okay. How the object will be sorted according to some default natural sorting order or according to some customized sorting order. So how we gonna use this balanced tree to sort an object and insert those objects according to some sorting order. Okay. So the underlying data set is what? Balance tree. Okay. So as you know that, can we able to insert duplicates? Duplicates objects, duplicates objects are not allowed. Duplicates objects are not allowed. This is a set. This is a set implementation class. So what is the property of set? Duplicates objects are not allowed for set, and insertion order is not preserved for set interface, like set interface. Similarly, this is the implementation class for set. That is why we are saying that duplicates objects are not allowed. Okay, duplicates objects are not allowed. So one more thing is what? So this is the tree set. Okay, this is the tree set. So except tree set and tree map, all over the implementation classes of the collection, all over the implementation classes of collection interface, except heterogeneous objects. But except tree set and tree map, heterogeneous objects are not allowed. Just because of that, why? So it used to compare two objects. If we have a heterogeneous object, we couldn't able to compare. That is why the tree set doesn't allow heterogeneous objects. Okay, heterogeneous objects is allowed or not? Heterogeneous is not allowed. So heterogeneous object is not allowed. What if you try to insert the heterogeneous object? If you try to insert the heterogeneous object, okay, then you will get class cast exception. Class cast exception. Am I clear? If you try to insert two objects, which is what different one, then you will get one exception called class cast exception. So this is the fourth property of tree set. So what is the next property? Can we able to insert an object according to the insertion order? So no such thing here. Okay, insertion order not preserved. Okay, insertion order not preserved. As you know that this is a set property, but all the objects should be inserted according to some default natural sorting order. But all the objects should be inserted according to some sorting order. Okay, sorting order. All the objects will be inserted according to some sorting order. Like, so if we are going to insert the object which is what string type, all the objects will be inserted according to like sorting order of the alphabet. Okay. So if you want to insert all the objects according to default natural sorting order, then you can go default natural sorting order. Or if you want to insert an object according to your customized sorting order, then you can go with your customized sorting. Okay. So that is why we are saying that insertion order is not preserved, but all the objects should be inserted according to some sorting order. So what is the next property of this? So can we able to insert null? Null. So guys, null insertion is possible, but only once. But only once for only empty set. Okay, for only empty set. If you try to insert the null, okay, so it is possible. It is possible, but only once. But only once for empty set. Okay, empty set object. Empty set object. But if you try to insert null, okay, so in middle or as a second object, what will happen? You will get null pointer exception. You will get null pointer exception. Why you will get null pointer exception? So here for every insertion of the object, comparison is happen. Let's suppose you are trying to insert first object you inserted, so that is A you inserted. Second time you trying to insert like 2 you are trying to insert. 2 is a integer object and A is a string object. So if you are trying to compare integer and string, so these are the different objects. So we couldn't able to perform the comparison. That is why here we are getting class cast exception. Both objects are different. Now, so you inserted A, and second time you trying to insert null. So with null reference, with null, if you try to do any operation on null, always remember that you will get null pointer exception. That is why, so null insertion is possible, but only once. Only once for empty set. If you created a set object And at a first as a first object you can able to insert null. But if you try to insert, first you inserted null, again you try to insert one more null or some other value, there is a comparison happen on null object. If you try to do any operation, you will get null pointer exception. So all these are the properties of the tree set, and all these properties we will go through the practically. We'll look into what practically. Just write down tree set properties, tree set, and we'll go for all the properties. Write down, guys, properties of tree set. The underlying data structure for tree set is balanced tree. Okay, balanced tree. Balanced tree. Duplicate objects are not allowed. Second property is what? Duplicate objects are not allowed. Duplicate objects are not allowed. Third property is what? Heterogeneous objects are not allowed. Heterogeneous objects are not allowed. Heterogeneous objects are not allowed. If you are trying to insert heterogeneous objects, then you will get runtime exception. Saying class cast exception. Okay, then you will get runtime exception saying class cast exception. Okay, next one, insertion order not preserved. But all the objects will be inserted. According to some sorting order. Okay, according to some sorting order. Next, null insertion is allowed. But only once for empty. TreeSet object. TreeSet object. Let's have a look into what are the constructors we have for the TreeSet. So if you want to check the predefined supports, just go to the command prompt and just run this command, java p from java.util.treeset. From java.util package, we are compiling the class TreeSet. So if you compile, it will display all the methods of the TreeSet. So which is coming from collection, then which is coming from sorted set, and which is coming from navigable set, all the methods, as well as constructor. So this is the first constructor. Okay, this is the second, third, fourth. So almost it defines 4 constructors. TreeSet defines how many constructors? 4 constructors. So what is the first constructor? Let's have a look into all the constructors. So what is the first constructor of the TreeSet? So TreeSet, this is the first constructor. TreeSet T is equals to new TreeSet. So what exactly it will do? So it creates an empty TreeSet object. Okay. So this, it will creates an empty TreeSet object. Okay, it creates an empty TreeSet object where elements will be inserted. Okay, where elements will be inserted according to default natural sorting order. Okay, what is default natural sorting order? Default natural sorting order. So anyone, what is mean by default natural sorting order? The default natural sorting order for string is alphabetical order, and the default natural sorting for integer is what? Numeric. Okay, so this is the first constructor. It creates an empty TreeSet object where all the objects will be inserted according to default natural sorting order. This is my first. I don't want to go for default natural sorting order. I want to go for my own sorting order. If you want to go for your own sorting order, then you can go with next constructor. What is the next constructor? So simply by using comparator interface, we can able to do our own sorting order. So it creates an empty TreeSet object where elements will be inserted according to customized sorting order. So according to, instead of default natural sorting order, if you want to go your own sorting order, then we can go for next constructor. According to, instead of default natural sorting order, I will say according to customized sorting order. What is mean by customized? If you want to go for increasing order of the alphabet, decreasing, whatever order you want, based on that order you can able to create this TreeSet object. So what is the next constructor? If you want to create a TreeSet object and you want the interconversion of any collection object, then we can create this TreeSet. So we can able to go for this TreeSet constructor. TreeSet T is equals to new TreeSet for interconversion of any collection object. For interconversion of any collection object, then we will go for this constructor. Okay, it creates an equivalent TreeSet object for the given collection. It creates an equivalent TreeSet object for the given collection, for any collection object. And if you want to go for interconversion of any sorted set object, then we will go for this TreeSet T is equals to new TreeSet. So I want to create for given sorted set. Yes, for the given sorted set, if you want to go for equivalent object for the sorted set, then we will go for fourth constructor of the TreeSet. So the TreeSet class defines following 4 constructor. So go ahead, please write down all these constructors. So these are like interconversion between collection and any TreeSet object, and interconversion between any sorted set object. 2 constructor, 3rd and 4th. Let's have a look into practical example. So already I have opened it. So let me remove this and this as well. Okay. And here I will write rename the class TreeSet demo. And let me okay. So how to create TreeSet object? We'll create TreeSet object new TreeSet. Yes or no? So this is the TreeSet object. So heterogeneous object is allowed or not? Definitely not. Heterogeneous object is not allowed. Okay. So let's be trying to insert an object which is what? String type. Okay. Just import this. So mouse over and import this class from java.util package. Okay. So TreeSet is the class present in java.util package. And if you mouse over and if you want to create a local variable, you can create local variable. So you see, half of the part is done. Now, how to insert an object? We will insert an object by using collection add method. So we can use all the methods of the parent interface, whatever methods of this. So I'm going to add individual objects. One by one, we'll try to add an object into the tree set. So let's see, I'm going to add one of the object. So this is my first object. Let's see, t.add version I am going to add. Similarly, we'll add few more objects. Version Anil, okay, like Raman, okay, this Ravi and this Ankita, and here I will add one more object, and let's see, I will say this object is what? Ananya. Okay, so might be spelling is like little bit. So okay, and try to display. You see, these are the objects we have added into the given TreeSet object. Observe carefully. So for the linked hash set, or for the linked list, if you try to insert the object, or for the list implementation classes, if you try to insert the object, all the objects will be inserted according to some insertion order, according to some, like, in what order you inserted, in same order they got inserted. But in TreeSet, all these objects will be inserted according to some sorting order, and this object is used to insert all the objects according to some default natural sorting order of the, like, if the object is string type, of the alphabet, if the object is integer type, of the numeric, like number. So here you see the object is of string type. So all the objects will be inserted according to some default natural sorting order. Like, what is the alphabet? So increasing order of the alphabet. Okay, increasing order of the alphabet. So you see here insertion order is not used, but all the objects should be inserted according to some default natural sorting order. So when I will run this class, so how to run? So simply I will directly click on run button. Let me check. Is it insert all the object according to some? Yes. Yes. Anil, Ankita. Okay. So AN. So after that, I is come first, then K. Okay. That is why Anil. Okay. Then Ananya. So AN, one more N. Okay. But this N is came after K. That is what? Ananya. Then Raman, Ravi, and Vasant is last. So like that, all the objects will be inserted according to some. What will happen? All the objects will be inserted according to some what, guys? Default natural sorting order. What if you try to insert duplicate object? If you try to insert like set implement, if you try to insert duplicate object into the set implementation class, what will happen? Simply that object will not get added and you will return. So status as a, like, you will get return. So this add method will return you boolean as a false. You see, if you try to add duplicate object, simply this add method will return you. This object is already added and it's return you boolean condition, like, you see, false. Actually, this object is already there. Okay. So like that, we are going to insert an object and all the objects will be inserted according to some default natural sorting order. Now I want to get this object one by one. If you want to get this object one by one, how will you get? Simply on this T object, can you please give me the iterator? So on this string, on any collection class, we can get the iterator object. So this is my iterator. So I want to retrieve all the objects. Let's create a local variable for that. So this is what string type. Okay, and we'll check, is there any next object? If yes, can you please give me that object? How to check, is there any next object? Simply on this object, can you please check by using has next method. Is there any next object? Yes. Can you please give me that object? By the next method. Can you please give me that object? Simply it will give that object and return you. What is the type of the object? The type of the object is string type, str. Okay. So simply I will return that object and store somewhere, and then the type of the object is what? String type, and I will display that object. Observe carefully. It will retrieve all the objects one by one from the given tree set. You see, Anil, Ankita, Ananya, Raman, Ravi, Vasan. Am I clear? We can able to use like for each loop also to retrieve an object from the given tree set. So the first concept we have cleared here. So in tree set, all the objects will be inserted according to some default natural sorting order. So if the object is numeric type, all the objects will be inserted according to like what is the order of number. So based on number, it will get inserted. And if the object is of string type, based on alphabet. Let's see next concept. Okay. What is the next concept? Let me remove this. So this is my tree set, right? This is my tree set. Let's we try to insert. Okay. So this is our tree set object. Let's we try to insert heterogeneous objects. Let's we try to to insert heterogeneous objects. I will remove particular type. Instead of accepting that particular type of the object, we'll remove that. So you will get warning, not anything. So just I will try to insert an object which is of string type, version, and we'll try to insert one more object. Okay, t dot add, which is what? Integer type. Okay, new. So integer. So new integer. So 100. So we added two objects. First object is what? What is the first object? First object is what? String type. Second object is what? Integer type based. So these are the heterogeneous objects. Okay. If you try to insert heterogeneous object, so you will not get compilation error, but you will get runtime error. Sorry, you will get runtime error. What error you will get? So actually the exception you will get. Java compiler will throw runtime exception saying class cast exception. So let me run exception in thread main. Observe carefully. Exception in thread main. So actually we are executing only main method. That is what it is saying. Exception in thread main. Java.lang.class cast exception. So java.lang.string cannot be cast to a java.lang.integer. So what is the meaning of this? You know, you inserted an object. You inserted first object. So here you inserted first object. What is the object you inserted first? Vasant you inserted, right? This is the string object into the given set. Like this is the set. Let's suppose this is the set. You inserted first object, which is what? Whatever string object. Now once you try to insert second object, before going to insert second object, comparison will take place. What comparison will take place? What is the object? Whatever object you inserted. So you should have to do comparison. Actually, for default natural sorting, compiler will does like this TreeSet. We have one interface. This TreeSet implements one of the interface that is called comparable. That comparable interface does comparison between these two objects. If both the object is homogeneous type, then only it can able to do the comparison, like string or integer, we can able to do the comparison. If both the objects are different type, heterogeneous type, the comparison will not take place. Actually, this is the integer object, this is the string object. How will you compare like string with number? We can't able to compare string with number. That is why you are getting class cast exception at runtime. Okay. So whenever you try to insert heterogeneous objects into the tree set, write down for this. If you try to insert heterogeneous objects, into the tree set, first comparison will take place. Between two objects. If the objects are homogeneous, then insertion will be takes place according to default natural sorting order. If the objects are homogeneous, then insertion will be takes place according to default natural sorting order. And if the objects are heterogeneous, then while comparing two heterogeneous objects, we will get runtime exception. Saying class cast exception. Next, we will go with null insertion, guys. Can you be able to insert the null or not? As a first element, we can able to insert null. You see, not and worry. As a first element for the empty set, we can able to insert null. We will not get any compilation error, as well as we will not get any runtime. We will not get any compilation exception or runtime exception or any error. You see, so we can able to. Oh man, what happened? Null pointer exception. As a first object, we can able to insert. So let me try to. So not as a first object also. It is not allowing to insert null. You see, as a first object also, it is not allowing. Null insertion is not possible, I think so. So as a first object also, or if you try to insert in middle also, so null insertion, you will get null pointer exception. Here also you will get null pointer exception. So actually null insertion is not possible, I think so. Null pointer exception. So exception in thread main java.lang null pointer exception. So for this null insertion, write down. So you must be correct there. Okay, somewhere we have written as a first element. You can correct it. Null insertion is not possible. You can correct it. Null insertion is not possible. So null insertion is not possible. If you try to insert null object, null insertion is not possible. If you try to insert null object, you will get null pointer exception at runtime. So for this example, you can get it. So is it possible? Null insertion is not possible. Okay, guys. As a first object also, it's not allowing to insert the null object. So this is my TreeSet object. In this TreeSet object, we are trying to insert which object? String. Okay. So string object we are trying to insert in. Okay, all the string object we are inserting. So let's suppose this is these are the 4 objects we have inserted. So so if you are trying to insert an object which is of homogeneous type, all the objects will be inserted for this given constructor. All the objects will be inserted according to default natural sorting order. You see, all these objects got inserted according to default natural sorting order. Anil, Ankita, Rahul, Vasan. Okay. But see, I will try to insert string buffer object. Okay. We'll try to insert string buffer object. So let me copy this, paste here. String buffer object, I am trying to insert it. You see, if you try to insert string buffer object, you are getting compilation error. What compilation error you are getting? You see, so the method add string buffer in the type TreeSet string buffer is not applicable for the argument string. So it has to, for the argument string, it is saying new string buffer. So we'll try to insert this string buffer object. First object is what? So this one is the first object. Now like this, we'll insert another object. So this second object we'll try to insert. So new string buffer, Ankita will try to insert. Okay, and then third object. What is the third object? Anil is the third object. So Anil we are trying to insert. So what will happen? So this is also a string buffer is a class, okay, coming from java.lang package. So all the objects are homogeneous. Can you able to observe? All the objects are homogeneous. So for string buffer, all these objects are homogeneous. If you try to insert, so for default natural sorting order, what we are saying, objects should be homogeneous. We are following all the objects are homogeneous. But you see, if you try to run this class, you will get runtime exception. You will get runtime exception saying class cache exception. Why you are getting here class cache exception? Anyone? So just because of that, here we are getting class cache exception. Just because of that, whenever we are going to insert an object, to the given TreeSet, the object should be homogeneous. First condition is true. The given object is homogeneous. First condition is true. Second condition is what? The object should be comparable. What is the meaning of this? The given class, whatever object we are going to inserting, that class object, like string buffer, the string buffer should be implement comparable interface. String class implements comparable interface, and string buffer doesn't implement comparable interface. That is why when you try to insert string buffer object to the given TreeSet, you will get runtime exception saying class cache exception. Okay, so the condition to insert a object into the given TreeSet is what? The object should be for default natural sorting order. Okay, the object should be what? Only for default natural sorting order we are discussing. Okay, the object should be homogeneous and the object should be comparable. So if you go, let me go to the command prompt and we'll show you. Okay, we'll show you Java P from lang package. We are going to compile. The class name is of string. If you're going to compile class, which is called string, observe carefully. So not all the methods. You see, it is a final class coming from java.lang package, implements serializable, implements comparable. Observe carefully, implements comparable and implements char sequence. These are the three interface it implements: serializable, comparable, and character char sequence. So that is why the given string object is comparable object. That is why we are saying that the given string object is comparable object. Let me go for string buffer. So string buffer is a comparable object or not? Let me check. So here, string buffer. This is a string buffer we compiled from java.lang.string buffer. So java.lang.string buffer. So this is also a final class string buffer. which extends abstract string builder, implements serializable and char sequence, but not a comparable. That is why we are saying that. So the string buffer object is not a comparable object, and string object is a comparable object. And whenever you are going to insert an object into the given tree set, the object should be homogeneous and the object should be comparable. These two conditions must be satisfied. Am I clear now? What are the conditions must be satisfied? When you try to insert an object into the given tree set, two conditions. The given object must be comparable object and the given object must be homogeneous object. If the given object is not homogeneous, you will get which exception? Class cast exception. If the given object is not comparable, you will get which exception? Class cast exception at runtime. I hope you get it. Please write down. All the wrapper classes implements comparable interface. That is why you can able to insert any wrapper class object. So not string buffer and string builder. Okay, string buffer and string builder doesn't implement comparable. That is why you couldn't able to insert string buffer and string builder object. So in note we will write, and then after that this example will write. What are the notes? So if we are depending on default natural sorting order, then if you are depending on default natural sorting order, then object should be homogeneous and comparable. Then object should be homogeneous and comparable. Otherwise, you will get runtime exception saying class cast exception. This is first point. Second point is what? An object is said to be comparable if and only if the corresponding class implements comparable interface from java.lang package. Third point, write down. String class and all wrapper classes implements comparable interface but string buffer doesn't implement comparable interface. String buffer doesn't implement comparable interface, and hence if you try to insert string buffer object to the given tree set, into the given tree set object, you will get runtime exception. Saying class cast exception. Now please write down this example. So you see, instead of string buffer, so let me change. This is my string class. I will add string object. Okay, we'll be adding which object? String object I am going to add. If you are going to add string object, definitely you are not going to get any error. You see, if you run this class, Control F11 is the shortcut. So all the objects got inserted. Just because of this is a string. So instead of string, if you try to add some other wrapper class also, integer, boolean, you can able to insert. Not a worry. All the objects will be inserted based on some sorting order. Default natural sorting order. If you are dependent on default natural sorting order, then we should have to care the object should be homogeneous and comparable. The given whatever object you are going to insert, that object should be homogeneous and comparable. So I hope you get it up to that. So For today, we will stop here, and in next session we will go with so in-depth manner what is the comparable interface and what are all these things. Okay, all the how we gonna use comparable interface, and we will look into what comparator also, comparator interface, how we should have to get comparator object and how to use comparator interface for customized sorting order. So up to that, if you have any doubt, you can talk me. We'll stop here.